It's Frank's box office buzz for the week of 10/30, October 30th, 2025. Let's talk about these top 10 movies right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanca, award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to talk about the 10 movies, and then we're going to talk about a couple that are on the outside looking in. And let's see what we're going to start with. We're going to start with The Conjuring, which is outside looking in. We are none of the top 10 right now. They have dropped out of the top 10. But I think Warner Brothers did a really good job with this film. It cost $50 million, which was higher than any other Conjuring film. And it was not able to hit 500 million, but pretty damn close. It only did $176 million in the States, but it made $310 million. Supernatural does very, very well internationally. I don't think Slasher does as well, but Supernatural-wise, International just eats that up. So this was not as good a film as some of the other Conjuring films, but since it was the last one, I think a lot of people flocked to it. But it was 487 million. That's amazing. The break even on that, even with like a $30 million advertising budget, would have been 80, 160, 165 million. That's crazy. Even if it was at a $200 million, it still did it. I'm sure it was not that. I'm sure they didn't dump that much money. Warner Brothers doesn't dump the money into marketing as Disney does. Disney is notorious for spending $50 to $100 million per movie. Warner Brothers doesn't do that, especially not with a Conjuring movie. So that's why I'm thinking 80, 160 million. So was to break even and soared right past that. Of course, one of the other movies up on this list from Warner Brothers lost some of that money. So thank God Conjuring did what it did. Demon Slayer, I'd have no idea what the budget on any of that was or whatever else. It only made $85,000 this weekend. That's why it's outside the top 10. Conjuring had made 81, just barely, the same as that. But it made 666. The total gross is literally 666 million. I don't know. Does that have to do with the demon thing? I don't know. But that actually beat Superman. Just FYI. 500 million internationally. I don't get it with the anime thing, but apparently anime does extremely well, as we're going to learn later on. And the last movie on the outside looking in is Blue Moon, which I did see this weekend by Sony. I have no idea what the budget was. They did not publicize it at all. This was the opening weekend for it. It had Ethan Hawke and Margaret Qualley. I did do a review on that. It is loosely based on a true story of Lorenz Hart, who was partnered with Rogers, Dick Rogers, who then ended up with Hammerstein, which is the Rogers and Hammerstein. Of course, they went on to do Sound of Music and Oklahoma, just a pile of very, very well-known musicals, even till today. But it all takes place in a bar, so it's almost like a one-man show for Ethan Hawke. And if the movie cost more than like $3 million to make, I'm like shocked. Then all that went to the actors because it wasn't on the screen, if that's for sure. But anyway, it only made $817,000, so it didn't even make $1 million. So this movie is an epic failure, and I don't really know what they were expecting out of it because it's a very art house film. But just the fact that it just was barely out there, about the number 10 is scary at $800,000. Amazing. So the next one up, now we're into the top 10. This is the Julia Roberts film, After the Hunt. And it also had Garfield in it. So this was a very, very slow weekend for the theater. I think everybody was saying that. Even Begonia, the Emma Stone movie, way outside the top 10. I didn't even mention it, it's so far out. I think that was its opening weekend also. And After the Hunt, it's like a Me Too type of thing. I have no idea. But I have no idea really what the budget was on that. Again, they really don't publicize most of the budgets nowadays. Warner Brothers and Disney's kind of the only one, and I know Disney lies. So it did 3 million in the states and 3 million internationally for a total of $6 million. Again, I have dramas. If you're looking to get into movies, as far as making movies, you got to stay with genre films. What I mean by that is action. Well, there's only 3 movies that sell internationally, 3 genres, and that is action, horror, and sci-fi, and that's it. And horror can be thriller as well, suspense, whatever. But these straight dramas don't do well. I'm surprised that it even did 3 million. But $6 million is going to be nowhere near a break even, because anything with Julia Roberts is going to be about 20 million at the very minimum. So this is a major, major loss. So I guess they're hoping to make the rest on streaming when they sell it to themselves. I don't know. Then the next one up, which is number 9, I don't even know what this is. It is Soul on Fire by Sony Pictures. Did 100,000 this weekend, which is nothing. And it also made 6.8 million. So very similar to the last film. And I don't know, man. I don't even know what this is about. I have no idea who's in it or anything. I have no idea. It was filmed in Missouri, and it's a biography. Did as much as Julia Roberts. William H. Macy did just as much money as Julia Roberts. That's not good. All right, going up the list, we're at number 8, and that is Truth and Treason, which I did see. This is the Angel Studios one. It's funny that Angel Studios, as small as it is number 8. You know, against Warner Brothers, Paramount, Lionsgate, Walt Disney. It's up against them all, and it's at number 8. And this is another biopic of a man who, it's during World War II, was putting out pamphlets and flyers to go against Hitler, because his friend was taken to a concentration camp, and the only thing he could do was try to speak out, and he was put to death for it. But a very interesting film. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. And the movie, as far as I know, the budget, it was shot in Lithuania, from what I could tell, and it cost like $2.5 million, $2.8 million, which is amazing for a period piece. It's very, very hard to do a period piece inexpensively, because you have to rent everything. It's not like you can have your extras or your cast, bring their own clothes or anything like that. You have to rent everything, and then all your production designer has to redo everything for the time. All the furniture. Again, it's none of that's cheap, because you got to replace everything. And the movie made so far $5 million. So if at a 2.8, you're without marketing it. But I don't think Angel Studios does much marketing. Like, I didn't even know this film existed until I looked at AMC. And right now, it's just lacking its marketing money, whatever that did. And then they're going to sell it to streaming. So it's going to be at least break even, if not more. It was definitely worth seeing if you haven't seen it. So definitely check that out. All right. Well, before we continue on, remember to give me a like. Give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. Share this video out there. Also remember, too, that I am a writer myself. So if you'd like to check out anything that I've written, you can go to Amazon.com and just type my name in, and you can see my, if you like biopic stuff, especially World War II, I have a thing called Escape from Berlin, the Diane Jacobs story. It is true. You'll also see my 4-novel epic sci-fi quadrilogy, Destiny Aurora. It was made into a board game, an RPG, a graphic novel. It's also on Audible with multiple voices. You really like that if you like Star Wars, Star Trek, Guardians of the Galaxy. And then my fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch. So if you like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, and Lord of the Rings, we have magic, we got dragon riders, we got griffins, we got all this stuff, and then we got battles galore. So you'll definitely like that if you like any of those as well. So definitely check that out. And then my new comic, Fairy Tales of Terror. We were successful on Kickstarter, and the artwork is looking great. I'm actually working on animating some of that stuff with AI. It's pretty cool. Trying to do like an audio book of it, of the comic, so you can kind of read along with it. It's looking pretty good. But anyway, so we have Psycho Cinderella. We have Killer Captain Hook. They're being chased around New York City by Tiger Lily. And I'm going to be retiring some of the covers. We are on late pledge right now. You can just go to fairytalesofterror.com and pick up your copy today. We do digital, and if you want it signed, you'll have to obviously buy a hard copy. All right, so definitely check that out. Plus, this weekend in the afternoon, so it won't affect your trick-or-treating, we're doing a master class on filmmaking, independent filmmaking, from everything from the writing side to the crowdfunding side to distribution to everything you need to hand it to an investor, all that stuff. It's pretty amazing, and people really like it, and I've given it several times now. But definitely jump in there. I have limited slots, and it's not expensive this time. I dropped the price so I get more people in. So definitely check that out. You can just go to the link to the Eventbrite link in the description below. All right, so let's jump right back into, I think we are on number 7. So number 7 is actually a film that I contributed to on Kickstarter, and that was Chris Stuckman's film, Shelby Oaks. I saw this as a pre-screen as a donor here in Atlanta. He gave them, it's not him, but Neon gave him, the all across. And they believe in the film way more than I did, because they gave him a very wide release, and on top of that, he raised 1.5 million, but he only got 1.4 from Kickstarter because Kickstarter takes their cut and stuff like that. And then they didn't really like what he did. Remember, he was a first-time filmmaker, so he probably made every mistake in the book. His other mistake, he had a good cast, but there's really no names in it at all. Keith David is in there for 5 seconds, and he makes a lot of mistakes, mostly on the writing side, but also on the directing side. But they doubled his budget. They gave him another $1.4 million to do a crap load of reshoots. Somebody told me today it was 70% of the film that was remade. My classmates did Blair Witch, and that should have been the beginning and the ending of found footage. But as you know, found footage continued for like 5 years after that. They just ate that up to hell. All the filmmakers jumped on that bandwagon for at least 5 years. And that's where it should have ended. We should never see found footage again. And for some reason, Stuckman came back and did it again. He dug up this old trope to do it again. And the first half of the film, at least the first 30 minutes, is found footage, and it's so boring. So boring. I did a review on that one as well if you want to check that on my channel. I praise him because even after all my time in the industry, I don't have anything that's gone to theatrical. Everything that I've done has gone straight to streaming, mostly because I've been working with streaming channels like Hulu and Showtime and stuff like that. I work for streaming channels, so of course. But even a couple of things that I've done also went straight to streaming. So I commend him for that. He's done better on his first time than I have in 19 years. But on the same token, it wasn't very good. It was extremely average. And he shouldn't write anymore. He should just direct if he's going to do that, because writing is not his strong suit. But anyway, so the movie ended up being 2.8 million, not including whatever they used for marketing, and they definitely did market it, because when I went to the theater, there was huge box posters in there and stuff like that. So they definitely marketed it, and I think they're hoping that his YouTube channel, subscribers are going to come out for it. I'm not sure they did, because the film only made 2.9 million. It made nothing internationally right now. It made only 80,000. So their international push has not been good. It's like if he combined that, if it was like a double situation where it was 3 million, 3 million at 6 million, then yeah, they would make their money back. But right now they have not. I hope it's going to get to 6 million, so at least they get their their money back as far as the production's concerned, and then their marketing money they can get back when it gets to streaming. But it's only the first weekend, so I hope it'll double it. But reviews have not been good, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't move up the needle very much. But again, Neon is at number 7 with it, and it beat out Sony, MGM, yeah, and Warner Brothers. Conjuring's been out forever, so you can't really count that. All right, so number 6, another Warner Brothers film, and this is the one that I told you was losing money. That's One Battle After Another, and the reason it's losing so much money is because the production budget was $180 million, and then on top of that, you have DiCaprio, who's taking money off the top. So it's pretty crazy, because he's getting from $1. Every gross, he's getting money out of. It's not net. So if they lose money, that's on them. At a $180 million budget, it made $180 million. It actually made more money internationally, probably because of the DiCaprio name. It only made $66 million in the United States. So it pretty much died very, very quickly in the United States. But right now, let's say they put, because they had DiCaprio, so they had to do at least $20 million worth of marketing, which would put it up to $200 million, right? So it needs to make $400 million to break even, and it's at 180. So if you're knocking the 180 million down to 90, which is half, of course, a lot of it's international. They're not going to get 50% of international. You get less of a percentage on international. But let's just say it's a straight 50. They're at 90 million right now, which means they're going to lose like $120 million. That's assuming on the low side of the marketing. That's why I'm saying, like, the Conjuring, it just ate into the Conjuring profitability. I'm surprised this actually stayed in the top 10, because it didn't make very much money the first week that it was out. And that is a Paramount film called Roof Man, with Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst. I really like this film, and I have a review of it as well on my channel. And I believe that the budget was $30 million. Way too high for this. It takes place mostly inside a Toys R Us and inside a church and a McDonald's, because he breaks into the McDonald's. That's how he steals stuff. So and Channing Tatum and Kirsten Dunst are not big names. So where did that $30 million go? Again, these executives at these studios are taking far too much money off the top. That's where these things are going. They're all very top heavy. So by the time they roll film, they're already like $10 million in the hole just from the executives taking their cut. But anyway, it's only made $24 million. It made $19 million in the States, and then only $4 million internationally. Again, it was mostly marketed towards women. Somebody else pointed this out too, just based on the poster, that it was not really made for men, even though he's holding a gun. But he's looking stupid, and I'm not sure who this is supposed to be appealing to. It's a biopic again. It's a true story about a thief and the romance he has, basically. So I thought it was a decent film. It had a lot of heart, but it is going to lose a lot of money. Not a lot, because it's only a $30 million budget. At least it wasn't a $100 million budget. But it's definitely going to lose a couple, $10, $20 million for sure. even with streaming coming in. Okay, and another movie that I haven't seen yet, and that is by Lionsgate with Keanu Reeves and Seth Rogen. I think it was directed by Aziz and Aziz Ansari, and that is Good Fortune. I heard it was not funny, however, even with Keanu Reeves could not save this film, mostly because Keanu Reeves is not known for comedies, and even though he did do Bill and Ted, but now he's an action guy, that's far in his past. And it just, I think it was like either $20 or $30 million budget, and of course it doesn't tell me, but I think that's what it was, 20 or 30 million, and it's only made 13. Ouch. It did not have a lot of marketing behind it, but at 30 million, even if you have a $10 million, which is tiny, 10 million on a worldwide marketing budget is tiny. But even it's 10 million, that's 40 million. It needs 80 million to break even. 13 is far from that. So even if it hits streaming, this is a money loser. I don't know if they got rebate or whatever else, or if that $30 million includes the rebate. I don't know. But either way, this is one of the few movies that Keanu Reeves has done that has lost money. Again, comedy, it has to be funny, man. You can't just throw something out. And Seth Rogen, everybody knows that he ain't funny. All right, we're hitting number 5 now. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. And that is by Disney, sticking in the top 5, although it only made $500,000. And that is Tron Ares, that I also did a review on that one. That is it's a miss completely. It is an average film. And when you do a $200 million movie, you cannot be average, because you need everybody to go to this thing multiple times when you hit that kind of budget level. And then if you throw the $100 million on there, that Disney is used to marketing, now you're at 300, so it needs 600 million to break even. Even if you're saying 500 million, which means that they only spent 50 million in marketing, but let's even just use that, where it needs 500 million to break even, and it's at 124. It made 60 million, 64 domestically, and 60 million internationally. So which is, when you have both of them if they're both similar, that means at least you have, an even split between both. That means you're doing something right, because you're getting both. Sometimes you're things like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is obviously better known internationally, and so, is DiCaprio. So they're going to get more international numbers. But you have a IP that is not really well known. It hasn't been done anything in the last 15 years. And you have Jared Leto leading this thing, which is a really bad news. Really bad news. Because he doesn't have successful film. Nobody goes to see a movie because Jared Leto is in it. He just doesn't. And then you totally dropped off from the last movie and said, screw it, we're not going to even talk about that movie, except for the fact that Sam Flynn is gone and left the company for personal reasons, and replacing it with Greta Lee. Greta Lee could not carry this either. I don't know what... The decision-making behind this film is staggering. I don't understand any of it. It doesn't make any sense. They had to know walking in that this was a money loser at $200 million. They had to know it. But anyway, $124 million. Again, it needs 500 to break even. So if you get half of the 124, again, the international, you're going to get less. You're getting like $63 million. And $63 million is a far cry from your 250, including your marketing money. Right now, they've made their marketing money back, and that's it. Bad news. Bad news for Tron Ares. That will probably be the end of the franchise. Thank you, Jared Leto. All right, number 4. I'm actually pretty shocked at this, and that is 20th Century Fox's release of another biopic by Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere, from the guy from The Bear. I thought he looked the part. He's a good actor. I don't know what the budget is. I think it's more like a $30-40 million film. It made 17. So I don't know who really wants to see a biopic about Bruce Springsteen. I mean, his day is come and gone, and so far long ago, I don't even know who he is anymore. He was really big during the 80s. That's it. By the time 1990 hit, he was already done. He's never been that famous. I don't. Again, he was good for a decade, and that was it. And he wasn't even that huge at that time. So I don't know what the decision making for that was. If it had been like a $10 million movie, it probably would have been doing all right. But any more than that, it wasn't worth it. So I don't know what they wanted out of that. All right, number 3. Universal's Black Phone 2. Another average film. I really didn't like the film. I liked the idea of where they could have gone with the film and didn't go. However, I believe the film was like $20 million, which I felt was too expensive for what this film was. Ethan Hawke probably got the majority of that. They probably, again, spent another $10 million in marketing. It was Universal. So they're at $30 million, so they need $60 million to break even. It's at 85. So it's already in the black. No pun intended. They're already at $25 million. So it seems like horror is the way to go right now. Again, even Shelby Oaks it'll probably still break even though it's an extremely average film. But yeah, so good for them. I think it still has a little way to go. It might even break $100 million. It won't do nearly what the first one did, but I don't think they care because they'll make some more money on streaming, and it's already made money. So they'll get another $20 million out of it, and they'll be happy. And we're going to start seeing the grabber mask pop up more and more, I think. All right, jumping into number 2. And that is a Paramount film. I'm actually surprised this is as high up as it is. I like this film, based on a novel called Regretting You. This is I don't know. I don't know what. It's a coming-of-age film and a relationship film more than anything else. I don't really know what pocket to put it in, because it's really not anything. It's really a slice of life type film after a tragedy. So that's pretty much what it is. I forgot what the actual budget was on this, but I think it was like $20 million. Has no names in it for the most part. You got Mason Thames, who has now 2 movies in his repertoire at the same time, right? Because he just had How to Train Your Dragon a few months ago, right? He has Black Phone 2 out right now. And now he has Regretting You. And he has 2 movies in the top 5. That's pretty impressive, dude, for a 20-year-old guy. I don't think he even is 20. And then you have Grace McKenna, who I think is like 18 years old. She is from Ghostbusters, which I was surprised that she didn't look the same at all. But I know her from Annabelle. That's what I know her from more than anything else. So at $20 million, they're going to need at least 40 to 50 million to break even. I don't know if they're going to be able to get that, but it'll be close. And I also like Allison Williams. She's from Megan. And Dave Franco, who I just saw in Together, also with Allison Brie, which is his real wife. And then you have Scott Eastwood, who should not have been in this film at all. And Willard Fitzgerald, which I just saw in a very small role. She has a small role here and a small role in A House of Dynamite also. Don't watch A House of Dynamite. I have a review of that too. I hated it. I like the first 20 minutes with Ferguson. That's about it. So they need to double what they've made right now. So they've got 26 million right now. It made 16 million in the States and 9 million, just about 10 million internationally. They need to double that. Let's see if they can do it. Remember, it was only the first weekend, and then it's Halloween. So I don't know if people are going to see a romance movie on Halloween, but we'll see. Maybe. It's a good date night movie. All right, and going on to number one, another anime film. It's amazing to me because I don't get it. I'm not really an anime guy. I like animation, but anime not itself, like, this is called Chainsaw Man. That is not a movie I'm rushing out to see. Again, it's Japanese, so the budget cannot be large. And it's right now at 112 million. So even if it cost, I wouldn't say this thing would cost more than 10 million to make. But what do I know? Like, animation internationally has no cost in relation to what we have here in the States. Like, they're not going to go out in Japan and make a $50 million or even an $80 million or even a $200 million Disney type animation. It's not going to happen. I think mostly this is like 2D anyway. So I don't know. It's but again, I don't think it's more than 10 million. I'd be shocked if it's more than 10 million. It's based on a TV show too, I believe. So at that case, even if you're using 10 million and it's not doing any marketing whatsoever, and that is it's quadrupled, quintupled its budget at this point. So, and Sony's putting that out and taking their cut. But at 100 million, even if their cut is 10%, they just made 10 million for doing absolutely nothing. So anyway, that's it. That was the week in review, the Frank's Box Office Buzz. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember, too, to give me that like, give me that subscribe if you can, ring that bell, ding, ding. Share this video out there. And also check out my stuff on Amazon. Jump into Fairy Tales of Terror before I retire some of those covers. Go to fairytalesterror.com. Remember, too, that I have my class this weekend. If you'd like to learn something about independent filmmaking, I will go from A to Z on everything from the writing to the producing to the distribution side and the crowdfunding side. All right. Anyway, that's it from me, and have a great week, everybody. All right, bye-bye.